Well, strike 4. Yeah, I don't know what game I'm playing. Alright, so this is the first video of our new revamped image. You know, we're prettier, we're smarter, we're so much more joyful. Hey, incredible thing happened. I posted the video saying we're going to work on things that we want to work on. We're going to do better content. We're going to do better filming. Can't guarantee the filming yet because we don't have all the lighting cured. But today's content is another explosion, another problem. I have 3 boys. You saw me do a truck, or me and Tommy do a truck for my one son. Then you saw us do a car for my other son who wrecked his car. Well, someone wrecked it for him, and we messed with the little Mazda 3. And literally after I posted the video that we're going to improve what we're doing here, I got a call from another boy who goes to Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. And he told me, Dad, I got a problem with my car, and he let me listen to it as he's cranking it, and I'm pretty sure he blew a head off the thing. That being said, I don't have another car for him, besides old Yeller. So we're gonna do something insane. We're gonna try and finish this thing. I'm gonna get it loaded on a trailer, I'm gonna haul it up, and let my son drive it. I'm gonna haul his piece of junk back, and I'm gonna sell it and get rid of it. And we're gonna let him drive this around as we go to fix his 73 Camaro. So, that being said, we got a lot of work, short time frame, we got a lot of stuff to do.
Now granted, all this stuff is hooked up before, but
yeah,
we're right at the tail end of that, so we need to revisit some stuff. But
and not only that, we went through and stole some parts off from it to finish other trucks and get them down the road. So the fuel system was complete, and we took the fuel pump off and half the stuff, and now we got to go back and buy that stuff to replace it. So not a great move, not a great look, but as you can tell on our new format, we are obviously much better looking than we were before. So hang on for the ride. We're going to work on a 67 C10. We're going to go give it to my son, let him drive it for a little while we fix his Camaro.
so, as you all know, when you're messing with this stuff, the plastic adjusters, they always break. That's kind of a given. So we're starting with doing that. So we have our springs there. There's a spring there, and it's just the one. And then you have your 2 adjusters here. So we got a bucket here, bucket. So if you see, there's indentations here. If you ever look at these bulbs, they got indentation here, 3, and that's so you can clock it correctly. You always want your lines to go horizontal like that, or if it's got writing, obviously put it on the bottom. So looks like she wants to go together like that. Question? Like that. Almost. Okay. That looks pretty good. And also you'll see there's these 2 slots here. These are for the screw type adjusters. So here's our new adjusters here. Don't want to go in. Might have to get creative here. Yeah, they're wrong. Alright guys, so here's a trick. Sometimes you get adjusters, they're not right. It looks like the adjusters that they've given us is probably for later model C10. Sometimes in a pinch, you can use a license plate, plastic nuts that go into like pop into bumpers and stuff like that. And as long as you have an adjuster screw that's long enough, it'll be fine. Yeah, my elbow. Go ahead and move your number 2. Number 2. What other fun do we have in here? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? It's kind of weird that there's no provision in the bezel to be able to adjust the headlights, so the bezels have to come back off again, but at least they're up off the ground, right? You know, stepping on them. Alright guys, you guessed it, airbox. Here's your old airbox. Alright guys, hang on. So I'm back. The turn signal switch is no good. She done died on me. El no play-o. Anyway, so now I'm working on a fuel system. I got a couple of specialty fittings, and the new fuel pump should be here shortly. Anyway, I wanted to show you. So right here, so some of the LSs, they have 2 fuel rails. You have a feed and a return. This guy only has just the 1 feed. So there's a special filter you can run. Anyway, go from there to the rail, and I show you how we're gonna do that. Alright guys, so they make these pretty neat fittings. This is just your normal bar bend, I guess you could call it that. But anyway, I'll show you how this works. So look at that collar, kind of neat. Anyway, it's got a relief in it. This goes on the line, and then you slip this on here, and this goes in place of your normal fuel line lock. Hose clamp. I know this is disgusting, but these fuel line is really hard to get on. The only way to get it on is good old spit. Don't use WD-40 because that can attack this stuff. So there is that. So I got the second clamp tight. These guys, you don't want to kill them, right? Okay. Tight, 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 tight. So anyway, here's the fuel line. Zoop. Let's go downstairs and show you what we got going on here. Downstairsies. Okay, so here's the fuel lines coming out of the cab. Feed 5/16 is the return. Here's our bracket here we made, and it's clamped on it. It's nice and tight, dude. You don't want that stuff wiggling around. Anyway, this guy is the return, and that's a special filter. So you have pressure come in here, which pressurizes the feed line. Whatever the injectors don't use, then it gets returned back to here. What the rest of what you're looking at is this is the feed side, this is the suction side of the fuel system. So these fuel filters are okay on the suction side, and what we're hoping to do is if there's ever any garbage, it'd end up in here, not the pump. The pump's going to go right here. So anyway, this is our next thing here. We need to tighten up these fittings. I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to go and throw this in my face. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put the fuel injection line on here. That way, it's a lot easier. I don't have to sit here and fumble and bumble and fight and everything else with it. It looks like it should work pretty good. So, this is a hard line that goes to the motor. It's actually designed to flex, so that's pretty cool. We need to tighten this fitting up, and then we're ready for a fuel pump. Yay! 15? I don't have one of those. Alright, yeah. Okay. That just don't make any sense, but whatevs. Whatevers. Okay. So there it is. So all we need is a fuel pump now. It's going to go right there. Whoop. I'm going to get a jack, and we need to put the tranny mount back in it. Hang on. Alright. Transmission mount. I guess it'd help if I turn it the right way. Come on now. World's longest bolt. Okay, there's onesies. I guess I could have found a longer bolt, huh? Okay. Here's all those. We'll go and let her downsies. Alright, while we're down here, let's make sure that drain plug's tight. Okay, here's that. Okay guys, I'm going to prime this oil system with this plug right here. Hopefully it'll want to come loose. That'd be awesome. Alright guys, before I so rudely interrupted dead battery, this is where we're going to prime the oil system right there, because right behind there is the oil pump. I want to show you something here. So on LS's, like pretty much all small block Chevys, the heads are the symmetrical. This little plug right here, that's a great place to put in for a gauge. The other side uses the coolant temperature sensor. So before I put the air box back in here, I want to make sure I try to get that loose. All I need to do is get it loose and then I can snug it back up. But yeah, we just want to make sure it gets loose. There's more stuff to do, but we need to oil it, right? So they're Allens. It's an Allen bolt here. Oh, look at that. Yay! Just like it wanted to, you know? Oh, yay. Alright. That's pretty cool. Cool. There it is. Let's not lose that. Let's put that right there. There's that. What I do want to do is I want to change the oil filter and prime oil filter. That way that's done. So I'll see you here in a second. Here we go. Don't laugh at the setup. I know some of you guys, somebody left a comment like, oh, I love that you guys keep it real. Well, it doesn't get much realer than this. But yeah, like I said, I had actually made a funnel for this. But if you watch, so it took a little bit of that oil. But if you watch, you'll get to the point where it doesn't really want to take it anymore. Counterclockwise on the crank, guys.
Always something, huh?
Do. Alright, guys. Time to put the plugs in. You know, if you're doing an LS conversion at your house or something like that, always make sure you pull the plugs out. Just to pull them out, and even if you just pull them out and put them back in, that's fine. What happens is if you don't know the history of the motor, you're supposed to use anti-seize on the threads, and over the course of time, sometimes the plugs will solidify themselves inside the head. So if you take them out while you're staring at the motor, it's kind of a smart idea. That way, if you have an issue or something like that, you can deal it right there. All right. So next, I need to score some alternator bolts. Get the alternator put on there. Put my wire back on there and plug it in and all that. Change some pulleys. All right, guys. Scored some bolts. Yay! Put this fancy new unit on here. Yeah, just use channel locks. Kind of squeeze them a little bit. And really marvelous. This. Cool.
All right. We went to try and start the truck last night, and we don't have any power to the ignition, and we don't have the fuel pump firing up. So let's check a battery and see what the voltage is. All right, so before we mess with any more of that, on an LS engine, there's a line here that is a steam line. And everyone thinks you have to have a super duper expensive radiator with a steam hole in it, and they charge a whole bunch of money for it. And that's not true. In actuality, when the steam line comes along here, right here on the water pump, you can drill and tap a hole and put a little nipple up on it, and you can hook it right in there. The steam will be vented off into the system itself. So you don't have to have a fancy radiator. You can use a regular stock radiator as long as the radiator hoses are the same. And you can just drop this guy right down into here. So that's what we're going to do right now. So to get to it, we have to take off the throttle body. That's no big deal. It's 3 nuts. Easy enough to do. This throttle body is a fly-by-wire, they call it. It's electronic. There's no cable that actually hooks it to the gas pedal. This is the electronics in here, and this will, it's an electric motor that turns the throttle blade that determines how fast you can or can't go. Now with that off, we'll be able to get right down in here. We'll be able to get in and drill our hole, tap it, and around here somewhere I have the little piece we need. We just had it here yesterday. That doesn't mean anything, by the way. Sometimes we hide stuff from ourselves. Anyway, I'll find it. We'll get this tapped. We'll plug it in. We'll be able to plug our system in, no problem at all. We would get a lot done around here if we weren't looking for parts, pieces, and tools all the time. I don't have any idea where that stupid thing went. I'm still looking. I haven't given up yet. Tommy probably hid it from me. All right, the old adage, 3 strikes you're out. Well, first strike, the engine's not trying to start, something's wrong with the battery or the electric connections. That's strike 1. Strike 2, I'm looking for the tap and the little fitting so that we can do the steam port. I don't know where Tommy hid that from me. Tommy! Anyway, it's gone. I don't know. I had to go buy a new one. Strike number 3. Go to ASR to get a tap, and here they have Sioux City Sarsaparilla. And I love root beers and sarsaparillas. And guess what? This tastes like garbage. Don't buy it. Anyway, I got my tap and stuff. We're gonna get a hole drilled. We got to get something done today, so let's get on that. Got the handy dandy cordless. So right here on the water pump, I might give you a little better shot of that. Up on the top section of it. All right, right here on the water pump, in between the water neck and this little bump, we're gonna drill right through there with a 7/16, and then with a 1/4 inch NPT, which is National Pipe Thread tap, we're going to tap our threads right in there. Then we're going to put our fitting in. We're going to connect that right from there up to where the little T is that goes in between there. So that'll save us a ton of money on a radiator. Let's roll. We got a nice little hole there. Now we're going to run a tap through it and get us some threads so that we can tighten this thing down. Now we got to make sure that's straight. At work I have a tap starter in my toolbox, but that's not here, of course. And if it's a little bit off, it's not going to matter. So we're going to run the tap. Found a wrench that fits it nicely. Since I don't have a tap handle here or a tap starter, but this is aluminum, so it goes in pretty darn easy. Just go careful, go slow, it should be all right. Now if we're going in cast iron or steel, it wouldn't quite be as easy. So National Pipe threads are actually tapered to where it's supposed to go in tight enough that it'll seal itself, but it never does. So we will use Teff tape or pipe dope or something, probably Teff tape, just to make sure that we don't have a leak there. So I'm going to run it about halfway up the tap, and that should be about right. We'll try our fitting and see what it feels like. We don't want to go too deep because then it'll make it not ever bottom out. Got a little bit of an angle, but it'll be all right. I don't know if you can see, there's a slight taper to that. So as it goes in and continues to tighten, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. All right, well that's nice and crooked, but it will still seal because it's not coming to a flat surface to seal. It's just sealing with friction and the tape that we talked about. Oh yeah, we like that. Let's get some Teff tape. We'll tighten her up. Well, strike 4. Yeah, I don't know what game I'm playing. Well, I can't find anywhere any Teff tape. I'm sure we have 13 packages of it. But this place is so disorganized, we've got to get this cured. So, strike 4, I'm out for the weekend. I'm gonna watch my boy play ball tonight. I got church tomorrow. And you know what? We'll start on again next week. So, let's cut to Tommy and Pete. They're better looking than me anyway. And then we'll wrap this thing up for you. Alrighty, hey, we want to thank you guys for coming out and checking out what we're doing. We are getting this truck ready for my son. You saw a bunch of work that Tommy did, and you saw some work that I did. And we haven't been working together a lot lately because of our schedules, but we're having a good time on this thing. We are under the gun. Crunch time is here. We're working on it like crazy. So we want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel, show us some love with that like, that little thumbs up, share the link, and you know, turn on that bell notification. You get a chance, visit our web store, buy some of our shirts, www.theoutrodgarage.com. And as always, thanks for watching.